Hi, very good morning to you. I'll try and keep the video short because I do appreciate, you've got other things to do. So we're going to be looking at the Earth Health at a glance, the anomalies that are taking place like volcanoes, earthquakes. But before we do, I have to just say big thanks to those few people that chip in a few bucks to the observatory. We run a lot of equipment here. We've got our own CO2 detectors, atmospheric oxygen. We have obviously the TriMag magnetosphere sensor here in the UK, and we have magnetometers in various other countries run by our superstars. And this platform, what we've got here on the website, is an archive of all the data that we've collected, and a lot of it goes back now a good 5 years, and we keep all the data on the website for you to have a look back in the archive so that you can reassure yourselves that when you're looking at specific anomalies like earthquakes, you get an idea of the trend over the 5 years of what's been taking place with our Earth, and likewise with volcanic eruptions, the movement of the magnetic North Pole, etc. I want to apologise, if I've come across a little harsh over the last few days. I do feel obliged to inform you on these matters, because when you look at mainstream media, they're totally omitting information on these events. You might get a squeak mentioned here and there, but it's never in depth, nothing like what we do here. And the reason why we can bring you this information is because just simply we have a few friends that chip in a few bucks here and there. If there was another way of raising money for the observatory, trust me, I would do it. And I'm always looking at new things I can do personally so that I can do more. But I understand with what we've been talking about over the last few days, it's very difficult for people just to up and leave, even when they are in vulnerable positions of reoccurring events like the anomalies that we cover. I understand that. I'm not trying to be patronising. I'm trying to treat you like adults, because I believe that you deserve to hear it as it is, and that is simply all I'm going to say. I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to make matters worse. I will never inform you incorrectly of anything, and it will be as is recorded. If we get data which is off the cuff, we'll tell you. With regards to a few people that have made comments about, you made a prediction in March and nothing's happened. Well, I am not God. I can't move the magnetic poles to where I would like them be at a specific time. We made a prediction of March, and let's not forget that recently we made announcements of, anomalies relating to the magnetic North Pole, which were unusual and never recorded. And as far as I'm concerned, we are still on the ball with that, albeit we've not reached the 40-degree mark. It doesn't make any difference at this point in time, because what we have noted from other universities is that there are things taking place in the core of our planet, and they will inevitably have an effect on the magnetic North Pole, like we have seen in just the last 2 months. So I feel that I did really well to make these predictions. Okay, we never hit the 40-degree mark, but we're still on course with regards to the last measurement of the magnetic North Pole. We're tracking westerly, so we're on course. Okay, we might be a few months out, but we were bang on the money when we said March something or other along these events would happen. And what we've seen is the magnetic North Pole come to a grinding halt. Then it went easterly and then come to a grinding halt, and then it moved forward, and then it moved forward again at an increased rate of around about 2.8 miles per month. So things are speeding up a little, and they are still tracking westerly as we predicted they would, but we just haven't hit the 40-degree mark yet, and there's nothing I can do about that. You know, this is in God's hands. And let's face it, we don't want to see, you know, these events that we've been witnessing happen slowly over the last 15 years suddenly increase in rate. And, you know, that is exactly what I expect to see when the magnetic pole really does take off and reach those weak field lines and accelerate. So let's get on with the Earth Alpha at a glance. We're just going to have a quick look at some of the anomalies that are taking place with various things such as CO2. So we'll start with the CO2. So I believe slightly increase on the CO2. Still overall over the last year, CO2 has dropped. Again, mainstream media haven't mentioned this at all in the mainstream. Neither has any other organisation come out, and you know why they won't do that. Because if CO2 is dropping, that means they're going to lose the grip on being able to earn money from CO2 taxes. We've got atmospheric oxygen, nice reservoir in our atmosphere, still of oxygen at its normal rate. You know, it does fluctuate a little bit, but mainly we're over 20%, which is a huge amount of oxygen in our atmosphere. There's the latest magnetic North Pole latitude and longitude positions. It will be updated towards the end of the month. So, you know, we will be in the next 6 or so days making another positioning of the magnetic North Pole for you. We're doing it twice a month now just to keep you informed, because of the recent activity has shown some changes and we want to keep our eye on what's going on with that. We've got 25 volcanoes in eruption. That's standard. You know, last time we done a measurement, beginning of the month, I think it was around about the 4th, you know, there was 26, now there's 25, and that's average. You know, that's a good sign as well. We know that the core is active still, in the fact that it's producing you know, volcanic eruptions. Likewise with the earthquakes, we've got the latest earthquake there, 4.7, 7 kilometers northeast of Japan. You know, again, we're seeing active tectonic movement, which is another indication that the core is good. You know, it hasn't solidified yet, and if it had of, you know, we wouldn't be looking at any magnetic North Pole at all. It would disappear completely, and that would be an indication that the magnetosphere had collapsed completely, and we would all be in massive trouble. And, you know, I will say this again, you know, let's not write this off the cards. It's the worst case scenario that could possibly happen to our planet. It has happened to our neighbouring planet, Mars. So, you know, we know it does happen to planets in our solar system. There's only 9 of them, and it's happened to one of them already. So, you know, we cannot outrule that. Will be a possibility, especially, guys, when we think about the length of time it has taken for a completed magnetic reversal. We're 500,000 years overdue a reversal. So bear that in mind. So we've got the muons per hour per square metre in the UK at 558, and muons per square metre per hour in Canada at 902. Again, what this is an indication, if we're getting increases in muons at the surface level of our Earth, you know, we know that there are interactions taking place higher up in the atmosphere with cosmic rays colliding with, you know, our atmospheric particles, and as a byproduct or a subatomic element, you know, we are getting more muons arrive at the Earth's surface, and that's why we've got muon detectors out there in the field monitoring that. Moving on to the sunspot numbers, they've dropped dramatically from the last time we took a reading of them. You know, we're at 5, so, you know, we was at 10 beginning of the month, now we're at 5. The geomagnetic field's quiet, solar X-rays are normal, and the jet streams, as you already know, are unstable because of their interaction between the polar and subtropical, both over northern and southern hemispheres. And then we have recently discovered another anomaly taking place over the equatorial region, with the subtropical regions intertwine over the equatorial region. So we've got the subtropical jet stream mixing over the equatorial region with the southern subtropical region or jet stream, and you know that like I say, is a new anomaly, but it's happening more frequently now. Our jet streams on our planet are completely out of whack. You know, this is nothing normal. Any climatologist, you know, that was honest and that was prepared to come out would say, you know what, in all his time, maybe he's been studying jet streams, he's never witnessed behaviour like what we're seeing right now. And that's what really is delivering the climatic changes around the world. That's largely the cause of it. You know, when you get polar jet streams mixing with jet streams, subtropicals, you're going to get a lot of rainfall in a short space of time. When you get subtropical mixing with polar, you're going to get a lot of snowfall and Arctic climate. So that's just the way it is. Okay guys, I'm going to round it up here. You know, there is a link down there if you want to help support us. You know, we got 58,000 subscribers from pretty much nearly every country around the world. Some of them obviously could not afford to sponsor or chip in a few bucks for the observatory, but nevertheless they still get the information. And I want to remind you that, you know, none of this support is mandatory, but you do understand that without a little bit of support from a few friends around the world, you know, we can just about manage to get by. You know, we're not raising millions, we're not here for the money. I hope you realise that we're not here for the money. You know, we're just trying to keep the observatory going, keep you know, making the equipment, adding it to the field, and you know, with that we get more data back and we are able to make more predictions more accurately. It's as simple as that. So there's a link down there if you want to help. There's also a link there if you want to become one of our patrons. You know, guys, all I have to say at this point is, you know, thanks for joining us, and take care of your loved ones. I say what I usually do. As always, bye for now.